F100 Nation, Episode 5, Kade and his build, Big Red. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Got a pretty cool episode for you guys today. Chatting with Kade Olinger from at DentSides7379, talking about his build, Big Red. A little bit about his passion for these old trucks, where they came from. You know, he has kind of a cool story. It comes from a little bit different place than, a lot of our other ones. So we'll hop into the podcast here and hear all about it. All right, everybody. We're joined by Kade with at official_Big Red. Getting to hear a little bit about his story, why he loves old Ford trucks, a little bit about his build, and some about what he's got going on. So, welcome to the podcast, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Good experience to be on. So I'm excited to tell everybody about my truck.
Dude, it's a beautiful truck. So I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, awesome.
So, I know I ask this question a lot, and but I'm definitely curious. What kind of led you to fall in love with old Ford trucks in general?
Yeah, my story is definitely a little bit different than others. I didn't really grow up around them. My dad had a 86 K20. He still has it now, and he's had that for probably 25 years or better. But with my truck, I never fell in love with it until I actually bought it. And I never knew what dent size was, or the year 73 to 79 Ford would be that dent size trimmed down the side. So that's basically whenever I fell in love with my truck. Way back when I bought it in 2012. That would make me 15 years old, and I traded a CRF 230F Honda trail bike and $500 for it. A lot of people, they get shocked whenever they hear that. But and how I found it, I was actually watching TV, a show called Barter King, and on one of the commercials, I saw the main Craigslist homepage, and there was a barter link on there, and I've never saw that link on Craigslist before. So I went on there and I clicked on it, and this truck was the first thing I seen. The truck was the main cover photo. The truck was flexed up on a rock. The rock was 2 foot off the ground, so that definitely caught my eye. And I just saw the truck. The paint was done and the lift was done. I had smaller wheels and tires. And then whenever I first saw that truck, I'm like, man, I gotta have that. So I clicked on the link and started reading about it. And the gentleman was out of Greenwood, Indiana. He said he was looking for a trail bike or a four-wheeler or a motorcycle or something. And I actually had that dirt bike, so shot him a few pictures of it. And he said, yeah, dude, that looks awesome. Bring it down. So that weekend, me and my dad went down there. We brought a trailer because we didn't know if we could drive it home. We brought my dirt bike along. And then a couple hours later, we came home with the truck, and I actually drove it home, and that was a 2-hour trip south because we're from southern Indiana. Took 5 or 6 tanks of gas to drive it home, but man, that was fun.
So it definitely sounds like you traded up. You got the better end of the deal.
Yeah. The truck definitely needed some work. We've touched pretty much everything on it. Like I said, the paint and the lift was pretty much the only thing we haven't touched. The first thing I did to it, we redid the inside, because whenever I was driving it home, I could see the road. Floor pans were rusted out, but the cab mounts and all that stuff, they were still intact yet. And the original owner, he did all the paint work for me, so I didn't have to tackle that. But yeah, I took the bed, the cab, the motor, tranny, all that off, cleaned up the frame, cleaned the frame up, And then whenever I first had the truck, it didn't have a tailgate. So my family, we went out to Wisconsin Dells for vacation. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to go online and see if I can find a tailgate. And lo and behold, some guy had a tailgate. And that's all he said he had. So, and we weren't prepared to haul as much stuff as this guy had in his basement. In his basement, he had every part you can think of in his basement, a couple tailgates, couple seats, a couple frames, motors, tires, transmissions, you name it. He had it all for 73 to 79 Ford truck parts. So we ended up buying the tailgate and all that stuff for $650.
Wow.
Yeah, so I came out ahead on that too.
Yeah, big time. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we actually looked like a bunch of rednecks because we had the tailgate strapped down to the back of our cargo carrier on our old Explorer. So we looked like a bunch of rednecks hauling it home, but definitely made some memories. And then a couple weeks later, me and my dad, he has a 22-foot small car trailer and a 4-door diesel. We ended up going back to Wisconsin to get the rest of the parts, and it ended up we had to sell the other stuff because there was just so much stuff. We couldn't have all the stuff laying around, so we ended up making another about $1,200 on the deal, just selling everything. So I got my end of the deal, and everybody else got their end of the deal. So
that sounds like a fantastic deal. I mean, you came out way ahead.
Yeah, that's how this truck has been. I mean, everything's been really, really nice for me. So
that's awesome. I mean, it's cool to hear that there's a different perspective. I mean, how'd your dad feel about you buying a Ford when it sounds like he was a Chevy guy?
See, that's the thing. He's actually a Ford guy too, so I'm not really sure why he bought this. Why he has that Chevy. Cause growing up, he always, like, our vehicles, we always had Fords. He has had one Chevy. It was a 2008 1500 Chevy, and he actually ended up selling that a couple months later because he didn't like it. And then he switched back to Ford. But this is the only Chevy truck he's kept. And I think it's just because he's had it growing up as a kid, so he just keeps it around.
Well, there's nothing wrong with those square body Chevys. I've got nothing against, a cool truck's a cool truck. It doesn't matter what brand it is, but obviously, I mean, I lean more towards Fords, but cool is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice, man. So, I know you're pretty active on social media, and you've got a couple of different accounts that you manage. I mean, you've got your official _Big Red account, and then you've got your Dent Side 73 through 79 account, where you kind of, you have a community where you're sharing a bunch of other guys' builds and their trucks and things like that. And, tell me a little bit about what you got going on there and what kind of inspired you to roll down that path.
Yeah. So when I bought the truck, the original owner of the page, Sam Newkirk, he actually passed away last February, 2017. And since he knew the original owner of the truck, I'm the only second owner. The first owner, the original owner of the page and the owner of the truck, they were buddies. So that's kind of how he knew me. And he just sent me a message last year asking if I wanted to have the page. I was like, yeah, sure. And it had 7,000 to 8,000 followers. And ever since then, it's just blown up. I've tried to take control of it. Completely wiped the inbox clean to have a fresh start. And I definitely try to post clear photos and make sure the photos look good. Sometimes I can edit them to where they look a little bit better. But now I'm up to 38,000 followers, I think. So it's been a really good time running this page and seeing how far it's come.
Man, that's really cool. I mean, it's cool that you're sharing other people's builds. You're trying to, more or less bring more of the community together. And yeah, I mean, that's awesome. It's these trucks are getting tons of exposure right now, and I think with more people building them and enjoying them, I think it's only just going to get more popular. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and I try to post everybody's trucks. If they send in a truck that's sitting on blocks, I'll still post it because everybody has that truck in their backyard that they want to finish up and want to get started, and it's just cool to see everybody's projects around the world. So it's really neat.
Heck yeah! So along those lines, do you have any future builds or anything that you're kind of working towards with Big Red, or anything like that?
Not necessarily. I definitely need some new tires. So probably this summer I'm going to get some new tires. And I'm in college right now, so I don't have a lot of money to throw around at the truck. But way down the road, I'd definitely like to put a new 460 in it, or a rebuilt 460 in it, because it has a 351 modified with a 4-speed transmission. And I'd like to repaint the truck in and out, because there's a few runs here and there on the inside, and on the outside the paint's definitely not perfect, but it looks really, really good for what I got it for.
Heck yeah. So you said it had a lift on it. What size is it? Suspension or body, or
It's a 6-inch Pro Comp suspension.
Nice. What size tires are you running?
And the tires, I have 35 by 15.5 Super Swampers with 15 by 12.5 Mickey Thompson Classic 3s.
Nice.
And I got a really good deal on the tires. My neighbor had them, so I got all 4 of those tires for $600 used. So I came ahead on that deal too.
Man, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well,
But I did buy the rims brand new. I bought the rims pretty much right away when I got the truck, because the original rims on them, they were only 10-inch wide, and the tires were only 12-inch wide, so it looked pretty weird, that tall of a lift, that skinny tire. So I like a little beefier look to it, so I upgraded the tires and rims a little bit.
Made it a little bit more your own and gave it a little bit your own style. So that's cool.
Yeah. One thing that a lot of people don't know, back in 2016, the winter edition, my truck was on the LMC Truck magazine cover, and they had a story about me. I sent in a story and a bunch of pictures. They actually called me whenever my family was out on vacation in Montana. I got a number that I had no idea it was, so I picked it up, and it was actually an LMC truck asking if I wanted to put my truck in the cover, and I was like, yeah, I think that would be cool.
That is cool. So you sent them in like basically a write-up on the whole thing, and it worked out.
Yeah, so anybody can send in a story. They have a link on their page that you can basically send in your story of your truck, how you got it, what you're building, what future builds you have. And that's what I did. And then a couple years later, I bought probably a couple $1,000s worth of parts from them. And I guess that kind of showed them that I'm into their company. I like their company. So they actually called me and asked for more pictures of the truck. And then it just went from there. And I actually have about 20 magazines just sitting at home.
Hanging on to them. That's nice, man. That's cool. Congrats.
Yeah, I was really pumped about that because I never saw this truck being as big as it is now. I figured it would just be just a show truck, small town show truck, but it's definitely growing through social media. So
social media is definitely a powerful tool. Obviously it brings everybody kind of together, you get to see what other people around the country are doing, and I think that's cool.
Yeah. So it's definitely been a journey with this truck, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. Too many memories with it.
that's the way it should be. Best pass it on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad, whenever I got the truck, his head gasket blown in the truck, and he was only 5-10 minutes from home, so he decided to keep on driving. So he actually ruined a lot more parts in the motor than what he wanted. So that truck sat for 4 years, and then I bought mine, and then that kind of got him in gear to get his truck worked on. So his truck's actually just got fired up a couple weeks ago and starting to run again. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. So he's going to start driving that again and dailying it, or just enjoying it on the weekends kind of thing?
Kind of both, because I don't think he's going to turn that into a show truck. I mean, the inside's all original. The inside is really, really good shape. You know, no tears in the seat, no cracks in the dash, nothing wrong with the doors. The outside's definitely rusted out, though. The bed's rusted out and the cab's starting to rust out, but I don't think he's going to do anything crazy to it. He just kind of wants to have a truck he can mess around with and drive around daily to not worry about too many things. So
nice. Nothing wrong with that. Just enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I really, really appreciate you, taking the time to come on to the podcast and tell us a little bit about, your build, and what your plans are, and, where your passion came from. I mean, thank you for your time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Definitely a good experience. I think this podcast is a great idea. I know a lot of people on my page, they say it's an awesome idea because they love to hear all the different stories and all the different trucks. It kind of gives them hope for their truck that's sitting in the backyard. So,
dude, that's really cool. I'm having a good time with it, and I'm hoping, I can get a bunch of people on for interviews and want to tell their stories. I'm just having a good time with it and just being able to connect, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's definitely a great idea. So,
well, I appreciate the support, and I appreciate you sharing it and everything that you've done.
Yeah, not a problem. And like you said, my personal truck page is official_Big Red, and then the big truck page, anybody can send in their photos. As long as they're clear, I'll post them. And that's just Dent Sides 7379.
And make sure, if you don't follow him already, head over, give him a follow, check out what he's got going on. It's really, really cool. So I'm appreciative of him coming on, and thanks, man. We'll definitely catch up again.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
It was awesome having Kade on the podcast here. Make sure, if you guys don't already, go give him a follow at DentSide7379 on Instagram. Also at official_Big Red. If you want us to give him some extra support, you can always buy one of his laser engraved cups or some of his stickers at dentsides7379.bigcartel.com. Head over there, grab a cup, and give him a little extra love. So really stoked to have had him on the podcast today. Super excited about the next podcast we've got coming up. We're going to be chatting with Craig from River City Rods. He's building a pretty neat truck that he's going to take to SEMA. It's a B100 out of Mexico. It looks like his renderings are kind of showing that it's going to be completely laid out. So real excited to hear what he has to say about that and his thought process behind that build. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.